Greetings TESOL trainees and welcome to this instructional video which is designed to give you a bit of a helping hand for the trainees that are at that stage of the course where they're ready to do their practicum. So my name is Brad, I'm one of the trainers here at Sydney Higher Education Institute, and we get a lot of questions by our trainees. A lot of them don't have much experience with teaching or just a little bit unsure about how to go about the academic side of doing the practicum. So with any luck, I can help out with that side of things. I don't want to go into too much detail with the organisation and setting up the practicum, because a lot of that information is actually on the LMS, and I really encourage you to read that information before commencing your practicum. So regardless of which practicum you choose, it's going to be 6 hours in duration. That's a requirement to get your Cert IV in TESOL, is the 6 hours of actual teaching time. We have 3 options, and I recommend you advise your trainer in advance which option you wish to take before you commence organising your practicum. We really just want to avoid a situation where something might be missing or something's not quite right about your practicum before you start, because it's a lot of work to go through all of it and realise something's missing or something wasn't done correctly, which you can't go back and correct without redoing the whole thing. That doesn't really happen that often, particularly if you're a little bit organised, because we really want to prevent that from happening. But there are just a couple of critical things that you need to do to make sure that situation can be avoided. So option 1, and I'll probably spend the least amount of time on option 1, because option 1 you'll have a supervisor at a language school which can provide guidance and be a little bit of a mentor, and you'll be at the mercy of what they want you to do to a certain extent. We don't expect you to take over their class and come in and do everything your own way, but rather you should be coming in and picking up where that teacher left off. You can do it as a co-teacher in a way, or you may wish to do a few hours of observation and then just take over and do a few hours as well. So it's okay to split up that 6 hours, either co-teaching, a few hours of observation and a few hours of teaching, or maybe you just do the entire 6 hours of teaching yourself. One of the really important issues with doing it at a language school, you need to make sure that your supervisor has appropriate qualifications. If you're unsure, check the LMS, but also check with your trainer. That's one of those potential pitfalls where you might have done it, but your supervisor doesn't have the right training, and then it makes it a bit difficult on our end to deem you satisfactory with the practicum. Also, check that the language school is suitable with your trainer before commencing. One reason I really like the language school option and doing it face to face, because it's just really the best chance of getting networking and possibly a job opportunity at the end of it. The school manager gets a little bit of a look at you. It's almost a job interview to an extent, and it might be a little bit daunting, but you get the best experience, the most authentic experience, and with any luck you might get a job offer. Try and show some initiative, go to the school, introduce yourself, and while some of my trainees say, well, they don't have experience and all the job advertisements require someone with experience, to that I say enthusiasm and willingness to learn is far more important than experience. So if you go there with the right attitude and it's the right place at the right time, another teacher might be leaving or a new class might be opening up, just put yourself out there and show some initiative, and you'll actually be doing the school manager a favour, because it's their job to know which teachers are available at all times, and often teaching positions don't get advertised, and maybe you can beat them to actually putting an advertisement up by telling them you're available. Option 2 is where you provide your own learners. The trainer will act as your supervisor, You can use 8 genuine or simulated students. Genuine students are obviously a lot better and a more authentic experience. Um, You've got two options, face-to-face or online classes. Sometimes it's easier to just get people to click on a link and join from home than getting 8 people in the same place at the same time. You definitely want to work with your trainer and prepare lesson plans that are suitable for the target learners. Get all that sorted in advance. There is a fee, and it's really important that you record the lessons. Some of the video, like the video conferencing apps, they require a fee to record the lessons, so you'll need to come up with some way to capture your screen because you need to show your trainer the lessons because they'll be your assessor. Just something to keep in consideration. Option 3 is using our online language school and also attracts a fee. It's completed over 2 separate dates. We'll provide the students. Once again, the trainer will act as your supervisor. We'll help you get prepared for it. We have an administration team which organises the practicum for this option 3. And we record the lessons and the lessons will be sent by the moderator of the online class to the trainer. It's a good option. The students are lovely. They're keen to participate. And for those that don't have any experience with online classes, it is a very different experience. And I'll give some tips about how to approach that throughout this video. So I really encourage you to check through these documents, which what your supervisor will actually be completing as they observe you doing the practicum, because they act as a little bit of a checklist about what should be included in your practicum. So, for example, it's got things like, there might be sort of something about pronunciation and the need for phonemic symbols. You can use this as a guideline to check, okay, in my lesson plan, have I got something about pronunciation? Have I got a writing task? And it'll also act as a good little reminder about things that we're looking for. Did we give constructive feedback? Was the lesson suitable for the learner's current level? Things like that. So yeah, I really encourage you to go through these. So now I've prepared some slides about how I would approach an online class. I've taught extensively online and I really enjoy it, and there's no reason why the learning process can't be just as effective as a face-to-face class. You don't have the opportunity to do things like hand out paper-based activities, but there are ways around that. You don't have a whiteboard, you don't have a TV, but you do also have other communicative options such as sharing a screen. You've got the chat box, students can raise their hand, things like that. So, okay, this is my lesson rundown. Okay, learning objectives. I've got a grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary, reading and writing element to my lesson. Yours will probably be a little bit more in depth than mine, but this is just an instructional video, and you'll have a few more hours of class time to get through. I really encourage you not to start the lesson too intensely. You need an icebreaker, introduce yourself, keep the opening light. You've got new students, new teacher, you'll probably be a little bit nervous, the students will be a little bit apprehensive. It'll just calm everyone down. I've got some simple questions, but you might have your own ideas about how to approach the warm-up, but don't just rush into the lesson straight away. I think this is a critical element towards getting off to a good start. As you can see, write your answers in the chat box, and they're just conversation starters, and well, that's what a warm-up's for, right? Okay, my lesson is past simple. I'm not overcomplicating the screenshots. It's a little bit of a grammar lesson, but I'm not trying to lecture them. And, I've got the grammar rules, and you can go through those in a little bit more depth in your class. Some example sentences, some activities to do as a class, like where they can put their answers in the chat box or turn on their microphone. and it's just past simple, which is a classic elementary level lesson. I've taken these from a class book, so that's not a bad idea too. If you've got a class book such as English File or Headway or one of the more reputable publishers of English resources, then I would encourage you to use those, especially if you've got a digital copy. I've got a pronunciation lesson, a little bit hard to see, but I have included the phonemic symbols which are required. Visuals are bright and colourful and eye-catching. Okay, a bit of an activity here for pronunciation, which I would take some time to go through. Okay, I've got a vocabulary lesson. Once again, big visuals that everybody can see, nothing too complicated. Match the words and pictures to the preposition. You can pause the video if you want to have a look at this a little bit more closely, but pretty rudimentary stuff for an elementary class. I've got a reading activity, simple true-false type exercise. I think that with the reading activity, it's good to let everyone have a chance to read it out loud. And whether you answer the questions as you go along or you answer the questions at the end, I don't think it really matters too much. See how mine is, the highlighted words are in past simple, which connects back to my grammar lesson. So there is some crossover between the different macro skills that we're focusing on here as well. Okay. And don't try and cram too much text on the screen at once. If you need to, do what I did and just put it over 2 separate screens. Okay, I've got a writing task. A writing task that they can relate to is always good. Mine's posting on social media, and they can put their writing task, whether they email it to you or put it in the chat box. They really love to get feedback on their writing. So yeah, take some time. You might need to allow 15, 20 minutes, as long as it takes, depending on how long the writing task is. But yeah, don't rush through the lesson. Give them plenty of time. You only need to cater to the slowest student, and it's very natural for some students to dominate and want to prove that they're a stronger student and finish quickly. In that case, have some fast finisher type engagement, but definitely allow time for the slower students, because you don't want them to lose confidence. Okay, and this is my writing task. Okay, now I'm at the end, so I'm doing a bit of a review. Okay, I'm recapping past simple, I'm recapping pronunciation, I'm dishing out some homework, and I'm definitely allowing time to ask questions at the end. Don't worry if you finish a little bit early, because some of the students might wish to give you some feedback, comments, or ask questions. Okay, so yeah, my online class tips, and I'm going to go through these because I've got a little bit of a video which will show how to use Google Meet in my case, but you really want some practice using the share screen feature. You'll be given presenter privileges on Google Meet if you choose option 3 as our by our moderator. So you'll have control over what gets shown on the screen. I really encourage you to practice using the share screen feature in advance to actually doing your class. It will absolutely make your lesson so much better. The chat box is fantastic. Students can submit their answers there as well if they don't want to use their microphone and camera. I definitely ask them to turn microphone and camera on, but if there's any background noise, don't be afraid to mute those particular students. Definitely record your class. Without video evidence, we've got nothing to assess, so that's something to take into consideration. And there's also a raise hand feature as well. Now I'm going to just show you my attempt at using Google Meet and just some of the features. I haven't got my camera turned on there, but that red portion would actually be a camera of myself. I'm using the chat box feature now. Use that extensively. continuously, I would say. I'm showing the raise hand feature now. This is predominantly for the students, more so than the teacher. Often they're a little bit shy to just speak up and interrupt, but you want to encourage them to ask questions. Now I'm using the share screen feature. Go to the window. I converted my PowerPoint to a PDF. That's my personal choice, but you could also screen share a PowerPoint. And the reason why I like a PDF is I can highlight text such as I'm doing right here. I can write comments, and it's just a little bit more interactive. And this is an advantage of share screen that you wouldn't have if you were using a TV. You know, you can't manipulate the content that's on the screen. You would also still have my video of myself teaching in a corner on the screen if my camera was set up. Okay, and just the same lesson which I showed earlier. So, just my final thoughts, try to involve the students as much as possible and avoid long lectures because it is more for the students' benefit, and you really just want to facilitate participation as much as possible. Students enjoy a fun class, relaxed atmosphere, so try not to make things too heavy. Have a laugh if you need to, and really focus on how to motivate and encourage students because you know, they're learning a second language and they're going to make mistakes, and we don't want them to feel insecure about making mistakes. Be sure to enjoy the experience. We're definitely not looking to fail you. We're just hoping that you actually get a little bit of practice, and once you're an experienced teacher like myself, you'll look back at your practicum and think, I had nothing to be worried about. It was really good practice. That brings me to the conclusion of this video. I'm really looking forward to supporting you through the practicum, and my favourite part of the entire trainee journey is actually issuing you your certificate. So it'll be a fantastic feeling once you've completed your practicum, gotten all the documents forward, and you'll be all ready to enter the workplace. If you do have any questions, get in touch with your trainer, but for now, good luck.